Thank you for joining us on another adventure in real estate. Today I have Jamey Singleton here, meteorologist with Cable 12. He's certainly not a stranger to those folks that watch Cable 12 every day, but Jamey, we appreciate you being here with us today.
Well, thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me. It's an honor, actually, because normally, like lately, I do more stuff behind the camera, directing Rise and Shine, but folks usually recognize me from when I'm doing my severe weather cut-ins and going on social media and things like that. So it's been a while since I've actually dressed up for TV.
Well, you're looking good, buddy.
Well,
you're looking good.
Just for you, I said. It was just for Steve.
Well, today, Jamey, we invited you in today. Wanted you to talk a little bit, when we do real estate, specifically selling land or larger tracts of land, we get into topography and dealing with the lay of the land, if you will.
Right.
And so one of the things I was hoping that you might could share with us, because I know you do a lot of work with maps,
right,
with as you're doing the weather and so forth. And I was hoping maybe you might could share with us a little bit about maybe how to look at a topographical.
Yes,
oh,
topographic. Yeah, I don't know, right?
Topographical map. I want to see if maybe you might could give us just a few pointers on that, and maybe talk a little bit about how you'd use it.
Yes, because we were talking before the show, the way you use it and the way I use it are actually two completely different things, and somebody else might have a third use for them, but there's all kinds of uses for these maps, and they're available for free. In fact, Steve's got a website pulled up, and I'll show you that in just a second. But there's many uses that I use them for, and there's many uses, like if you're buying a sector or whatever you call a tract of land, you can use it to not only get the lay of the land, but you can use it to maybe even understand what kind of weather you may get at that place.
Hey.
If you study it enough and it's extreme enough topography, you can actually have a little, what we call a microclimate. And that's kind of interesting. Folks that live in Floyd County will tell you they have their own weather up there, and they do. And topography plays a big role in that. So we'll start you off here. We've got it pulled up here on our laptop, and this is all of Franklin County. And first, just to point out, it's very impressive when I'm either directing mountain to lake or I'm the casual onlooker, as Kevin calls it, when you guys are recording, how each property is a little bit different depending on which area of the county you are in. And just as an overview, we call Franklin County the foothills. It's rolling hills, if you want to call it that. But what makes Franklin County so special is, of course, you've got Smith Mountain Lake over here to the east, and you've got Philpott Lake down here. And in between, you've got Rocky Mount there and Grassy Hill. Then off to the west, you've got some of the steepest terrain between Roanoke and Floyd County, especially near the Parkway here. Cahays Mountain's private, but Blue Ridge Parkway basically is for the most part the border of western Franklin County. And so depending on what part of the county you're either watching us in or trying to buy land on, you're going to notice a big change here. So when you see a topography map like this, you're going to see the roads and everything on there, but you're also going to see a lot of lines and a lot of numbers. So as I zoom in here, you can see these lines of equal elevation. And I'm using Grassy Hill as an example because it sticks way out if you look at Rocky Mount in general. But as you go in tighter, you see the word grassy there, and you can see it just for an example of 1,400 there. That's 1,400 feet above sea level. And so if you trace that line, and it's hard to see, but it gives you a kind of a visual representation of the elevation at that level. So if you go to the top of Grassy Hill, it looks like we're at about, you go over 1,500 and you're getting up to about 1,600, 1,761. And for some reason, all of the topography maps I've ever looked at, when you zoom in too far, the lines go away. So I usually have to end up screenshotting them or looking at them with my reading glasses on as I'm getting older. But you can see the height, 1761, and I believe that, yeah, that's feet. So we're at about 1,000 feet in Rocky Mount above sea level. But your temperature decreases with height. And so when you're looking at something like this, you see the lines that are packed tightly together over a small distance. If you see there, you're going 200 feet in just a matter of going from the bottom of the hill to the top there, and it's a pretty small hill by comparison. That's some pretty steep grade.
Yeah.
So if you got property with a lot of those lines on it, it's pretty much going to either give you, it's probably not going to be the easiest to mow, but it's probably going to give you a great view if you're at the top of that, or even at the bottom. Folks like looking up at the mountains too. You can see how in town it lays a lot differently. You get off the ridge there and you've got more what we call just rolling hills, but you've also got Bald Knob down here. And kind of a thing to mention too are waterways. People don't think of really topography as affecting water unless you really break it down to the simplest term. The water's going to go to the lowest point. So your river and the Smith Mountain Lake area is actually already a topography map. It's showing you where the water is. And so not only is it showing you the river, but that's also inherently, that is your lowest elevation relative to the surrounding locations. So if you live like right here, just without looking at the numbers, I could have looked at a plane map of this river and I could have told you that the highest point was going to be right here between these the bends of water. That's just the way everything works. Gravity pulls that water down to the lowest spot. It's going to find the easiest way to travel. So that's what happened when they dammed the lake up. That's what happened there. So it's really cool. You can go over to another cool place to look for topography is Smith Mountain Dam. You see Smith Mountain right there. Franklin County, eastern parts of Franklin County, it tends to lay a lot more gentle. You don't have as much change in elevation. And that goes into Bedford County and Pennsylvania County, the more, areas there near 29, the more populated areas. But Smith Mountain really sticks out. A lot of folks can see that from miles and miles away. You can actually be on Windy Gap Mountain and look off to the south there as you're coming over the mountain, and if you look in the distance, you can see Smith Mountain and locate the dam. That's visually with your own eyes, which is pretty cool. You don't even need a map. So that's neat. But one of the things I think it's neat about it is being able to see your community on here. I can show you my area where I live. I live off of 122 off of Angle Plantation Road. And it's not far from the Blackwater River. And I didn't know this until I looked at a topo map that Flint Hill, I've always seen that sign, but that's Flint Hill right there. Looks like it was probably used, Dr. Amos could probably tell us more about the Civil War, but I think it dates back to that. But we're kind of on a little bit of a hill next to the Blackwater River. We've got a field across our house and we can see Grassy Hill very clearly. So, if you were looking at property on Angle Plantation, you could see what side of the road your home is on, and north is going to be up here. You can always look at your compass rose for that. But you can kind of get a look at the map and you can see Grassy Hill sticks way out. What I would recommend doing if you want to know what your views are going to be like is, of course, what you guys do is you bring folks out to the property to see that, but I'd also bring a topo map with you so that you can locate the various landmarks, know which way is south, which way is north. And typically what happens, like if you are in a home, you may think that, okay, right there, south, because that's the south-facing part of the house. But that's not necessarily where south really is. It just feels like south to you. One thing at my house, I had to realize that Rocky Mount was more to my facing southwest than south. And you also, talking about weather, get an idea of where the storms are going to be coming from. And things like that. So I hope that gives you an overview anyway of how to use it.
You've done a great job, Kevin. You could do, just do...
The very basic right here is what I can just about get out in a few minutes. But
yeah, no,
there's all kinds of neat things, though, that you can get further into it.
Sure. And if we drill down, basically a topo map, if you look at the tighter those lines are, the steeper the grade.
Steeper it is, right. Yep. So this is, I've got a lot of lines right here. This is the map. You take the top of it, the higher number and the bottom number, and it's all about slope. You go back to your geometry class or whatever.
Sure. Well, we really appreciate you being with us, Jamey. Thank you very much.
Very much. And just one quick thing, this can also tell you what your temperatures will be. If you live at the top of a ridge, you'll be a few degrees cooler. If you live at the bottom, you'll be coldest at night sometimes. You tend to trap a lot of cloud cover in a northeast wind. If you're nestled in a valley, sometimes on the western slopes, you break out into more sunshine. So there's all kinds of things to look out for. Ridge tops can also, as heating goes up the mountain slopes that converges, you can have your thunderstorms develop there first. And you can get used to that pattern. On a hot, humid day, you know you're probably going to be one of the first people to get a rain shower or storm if it's humid enough.
Well, Jamey, we appreciate you being with us here today and on this adventure in real estate. You want to share with us, if you want to find some more weather information, where we might find you at?
Thanks for having me, by the way. I always have a good time. I've got an anxiety disorder, so I get really nervous before things, and then I get on camera and it goes away, and I end up talking for hours. But no, you can follow me on Facebook. On my meteorologist Jamey Singleton page is my professional page, but I also post stuff on my personal page. I'm on Instagram, meteorologist Jamey Singleton. I'm on Twitter at Jamey Singleton. Just joined TikTok.
Oh.
You try to get to, you're doing weather, you want as many people to get your forecast as possible because it is competitive. So trying to see what the kiddos are up to. And so I'm on TikTok. I'm not dancing or anything or twerking, but I am doing weather on there, trying to figure out how to do that. So just hit me up there. It's always on cable12ynn.com. Has all the embeds of those things on there. So you just go to the weather page and see my latest forecast there.
Well, thanks again, Jamey. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
We'll see you guys next time on another adventure in real estate.